Welcome back to episode 7 of the Flipside Music Podcast, your all-access pass to music industry tips, interviews with indie artists and music industry professionals, and the business behind the music. I'm your host, Matty Flip, and I'm going to need you guys to strap in for this episode because it's a little longer than my other episodes, but it's for a good reason. I promise. Today's guest is a military vet, singer-songwriter based out of Las Vegas who has hosted, promoted, and performed hundreds, if not thousands, of events. He's a serial entrepreneur who was an early adopter of crypto, which allowed him to launch his music career even further. And he's got some releases coming out soon that are going to have you guys asking, who's this guy? You guys are about to find out today, because here to share his story with us is none other than the man himself, TM. I'm so happy you reached out to me, man. What made you reach out to me of all people? How did you find me? I'm curious.
One of your videos came up on TikTok or something. I was just on, and it's funny because I don't scroll TikTok a lot. I usually just go on there and post. And I actually have a buddy that's been running my TikTok for me, like making my posts.
Mhm.
So I don't even go on there a lot. And I just happened to go on there and was looking at shit. I was on there to add up all the views on the different videos that use my song to come up with a number of how many times it had been streamed, you know?
Right.
And then after I was done doing that, I was just like watching videos, and somehow one of your videos came up in my fucking feed.
Interesting.
Probably because you do music, and I was looking at music shit that whole time. So the algorithm was like, "Oh, let us show music shit." You popped up, and I saw you. And then I looked at a couple of your videos, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm just gonna reach out to him."
Yeah, man. That's awesome, man. That's honestly probably one of the first times that's happened. That happened to me. Usually, it's like I'm live and people come across my live stream of me doing music reviews. I appreciate you joining us here today, TM.
Yes, sir.
So how did you get that name, man? How'd you come up with that name? Is it your like initials or?
No, not at all. Actually, one of my battle buddies in the military, I would consider him like, I guess, my music mentor. His name is Anthony Hicks, DJ drum major. He gave me the name, and then I shortened it to TM. It was originally The Man.
That's funny, man. And you're a military vet too? That's awesome, man. Thank you for your service.
Yes,
I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate it.
My business partner with the label I work with is also a military vet as well, man. So that's very awesome to hear. So are you from Vegas originally, or are you like you were in the military, so I'm assuming you traveled for a while too.
Yeah, so I was born in Mississippi, but grew up my whole life in around the Atlanta metro area. So I claim Atlanta.
Okay. What brought you to Vegas?
I had literally just got out of the military. I just got back from Iraq, and I just went for a drive one day when got back home to Georgia. I was like, I just wanted to go for a drive, kind of.
Ended up driving across the country.
Yeah, and just kind of ended up here, bro. Been here ever since.
That's awesome, man. Well, shit. So you work with. Oh, you had some questions for me, man. I don't want to bombard you with questions. Sorry, man. Like, you were asking where I'm from and stuff. So yeah, did you have some questions for me too?
Oh yeah, what was the label you said you guys work for out here?
Smile My Records.
Okay.
Half DZ's the owner and CEO. He's also the artist I was talking about. He's the military vet. He's been releasing music for about as long as you have too, man. Like it's crazy. And he was in the army. He went to Afghanistan as well, which was really funny that you mentioned. I'm like, dude, this guy, like, I feel like I've met him before, and I'm like, I kind of have, because I work with a guy that did exactly that. And he's from Florida. He's down from, southeast, Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's kind of funny, bro. I did have a chance to go to Mississippi though. I went to this very small town. It's called Terry, right outside Jackson. Not too far from Jackson. So it was a little weird out there. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was. That's the sticks.
It's almost third world country-ish in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I spent some time in South Carolina for the last like year and a half as well, and we were in an area like that. It was like the sticks. Like my buddy had like his family had like 63 acres of property out there, and just a little pre-manufactured house on the property. It used to be like a tobacco farm back in the day. Like it's there's nothing out there. The closest convenience store is like a 10-minute drive. Like,
Not so
but
convenient.
no, 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 not unless you got a car or some wheels, man. But yeah, man. So, but I'm originally from New Jersey. I was a DJ here for 15 years. Well, a little over 15 years. I had traveled. I went to California. Um, did some corporate work. I did some contract work, putting together furniture and mounting TVs and shit out there. And then a buddy of mine brought me back into the music business. I met him through live streaming actually, and he asked me to first. He started to ask me, to edit videos for him, and we were kind of doing stuff back and forth across the country, sending emails and shit. And eventually, he made his way out to the West Coast, and we ended up working together. I started filming his stuff, and then I started looking over some of his like licenses for his like beats and stuff like that, and I noticed some like weird shit in there, and I was like, well, we can't submit this for like sync licensing, we can't submit this for that, we can only submit it to one radio station based on the license that you bought. And he's like, well, I thought it was an unlimited license, and I could basically do whatever I want with it. And I was like, well, this license says you can only do this, like you have to read these things, and you have to also, I had to show him how to register his music with ASCAP and the MLC and Sound Exchange. So that kind of led me to like he eventually asked me to be his manager, and I worked with him for about a year and a half. And my buddy DZ, Half DZ is his name. He's out there in North Vegas, and he encouraged me to do it. I went to him because I know he'd been doing music for God knows how long, for you know 20 years. So I was like, well, if there's anybody I know that I should ask, it's him. So I asked him, and he was like, yeah. I worked with him for a year and a half, and then DZ eventually started his label and asked me to come on board and manage his artists as well. So, but yeah, man. But I see you work with Wild Dogs Entertainment and Loose Cannon Records. Are those your companies, or are they labels, or um,
Loose Cannon is my
yeah?
label, and
How do they contribute to your career? I guess.
okay, yeah. So Loose Cannon's my label. If you look
Okay.
at my like release, I threw concerts out here in Vegas for like 15 years. Like mostly, the last end of that was mostly like electronic music, like EDM, dubstep, shit like that,
All
house,
right. All
right?
right.
But when I first came here, I was throwing like hardcore and punk shows.
Okay.
Um,
Love it.
so, so I've done kind of everything in between punk, hardcore, rock to I think I did something that was country once even.
I
Um,
noticed that your the music, at least looking at your Spotify account, like you've been releasing music since 2014. And your
yeah,
style has kind of changed with each release. And I noticed there was some gaps too, and that was probably when you were running those shows and shit too, right?
yeah. So the gaps, so the gaps are kind of like, well, really. Now that I look back on that same thing on Spotify, I'm like, damn, bro. Like, if I would have been consistent through this whole time, I'd probably be to where I want to be already. But so obviously, as
Yeah.
you see, I did a little something in 2014, 2015, right? A lot of those
Yeah.
did really well in the EDM scene. So I was able to play like a ton of festivals. Like I played Kingdom Rave in Atlanta twice.
Fuck
I played
yeah.
this festival, Tunes in June up in Colorado. I was direct support for Riot 10 and uh, Butch Clancy on a show in Texas. I mostly did like a little tour of like direct support or just really big festivals.
That's
Um,
awesome, man.
it,
Like
it was
opening
pretty
as a
nice.
DJ or something, or
No, I had my DJ come with me. So basically, at that time, all those songs were kind of like hip hop hybrids with EDM, like almost a dubstep hip hop kind of vibe.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I think at the time there was like doing it. It was like me, this group of guys also from Vegas called Split Breed, and
Okay.
maybe Foreign Beggars. I think those are the only people that are really doing like.
Dude, I remember Foreign Beggars. Holy shit. That's funny.
Yeah, we were like. I think we were like the three acts that were doing, hip hop hybrid EDM stuff. So I
Hmm.
had those two releases, and then as you see, after 15, there was like a 4-year gap before I released music again.
Hmm.
And then I played that game again. I released, I think, 19, 20, 21, I think, and then I had like another 3-year gap.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
like, what? I was like, what's going on?
Part of
I
that
was
is
curious.
because
Yeah.
So part of that is because my production partner is in a well-known touring EDM group.
Okay.
And he was gone a lot, so we didn't have opportunities to get together and make
Fair
music.
enough. Fair enough.
Also, I'm a single dad, so I got that going on, and then
Okay.
like, just us trying to link schedules, so that caused the gaps. Unfortunately, a lot of the songs, believe it or not, were actually done and could have been released through those gaps, but we didn't have like a follow up game plan once we burned through those.
Gotcha.
So, like last year's release, Little Turn Up, 2024's release, I think it had been done since like 2023, 2022. So I released that one single last year just to get back into trying to be semi relevant. And then the end of last year, I signed a deal with Wild Dogs Entertainment. So that label's out of New York, and
So
that's ran by DJ.
dual label.
Yeah,
So
so
you have your own label, and then you're under this label. Is your label under this label, or are you as the
there you
artist
go.
under?
Yes,
See, I
uh,
like to as this is also the kind of stuff I like to dig into on the show, as well as
yeah,
the not so nice stuff about the music industry, the contracts and licenses and things
yeah, for
that are
sure.
getting involved with it. So yeah, so you're with your label is under it, or are you as
Yeah,
an
so
artist under it?
I signed a label deal, so my label's under that label, but also as an artist. But so I could bring artists that are on my imprint up with me. It'd be like for other people that know pop, it'd be like Shady, Aftermath, G Unit. It's like
I
he
understand.
brought
Yeah,
his label. I know you get it, but just for the
yeah,
average listener who
yeah,
might
yeah.
not.
Go
So
ahead.
yeah, I signed a label deal. And then as an artist, I'm doing 3 releases with them right now. That's what I'm contracted for right now is 3. This one, Whoa, that just came out is my first release with them, and so I owe them 2 more records. The 2 records I owe them are done, and they're pretty massive records that I'm pretty stoked about.
I saw that you had mentioned that you got some pretty big collaborations coming up, man. How how'd you come across these? Did you actually work with these artists in the studio? Was it like a verse license that you went through like their management for, or because I also work with an A&R that has access to like pre-recorded verses, that verse licenses with some of these artists as well. Not Jack Harlow, Post Malone, Pop Smoke, Split Breed. I'm curious about those. I can I have an artist who does have a verse with Lil Wayne, who it was a verse license. Was an awesome track. Did 500,000 plays in the first month.
Nice.
On Amazon. Yeah, man, it was absolutely awesome. And the other artist, Half Easy, he's got a bunch of verses with when we went through the same process. It's a verse license. It's non-exclusive. Other artists can purchase it and they can do whatever they want with it as well. It's through Holy Toledo Productions. If you don't know who M80 is or Holy Toledo Productions is, um,
I know it.
yeah. So we go through him. I work with him directly, talk to him directly. Half Easy just hired him as his A&R as well. So he's going to be releasing some music with him here soon. He's working on his debut album with him, which is going to be cool. But we went through, Anno Domini, Wishmaster, and all them, and got the verse licenses. All the songs went out, released, performed pretty damn well. To be honest with you, I was surprised. I was like, damn, they actually did have some pull putting these artists on your track, man. And he was spitfiring them out, being consistent, putting like in the first, like when he first started it, he was doing it like every week, a release every Friday. And then he like kind of after a few, I'd say like about 2 months of that, he slowed down and went to like every 2 weeks, and then put out an EP every quarter, and he started, slowing it down a little bit, but still being consistent with it, and it's still continuing to grow. He has 8,600 monthly listeners right now, but he's gotten over 1 million plays in the last year. Oh, well over 1 million, almost 2 million. Um,
Yeah, so mine are not leases, by the way. I did not
awesome.
lease.
That's I'm
The first
sure didn't
the
cut.
first one
Wasn't cheap either.
The first one is a licensing deal. It wasn't through a Nano or any of those. So I went through a label
Hmm.
that owned all these exclusively. It was work for hire. Um, I leased the Lil Wayne track through them for sure. That one's a lease.
Hmm.
Um, but the other ones I own exclusively. There aren't leases. They're exclusive verses. I own them here and forever in every universe till the end of time.
Let's go, man.
Um, obviously, the artist name there. So those were Jack Harlow, Post Malone, Pop Smoke. They were not cheap. I had to go
I
into
know how much those verses cost, especially for
yeah.
exclusive verses, man. It's not cheap.
So I'm in crypto, bro. I got into crypto super early. I was an early adopter. I got into Bitcoin like first quarter of 2010.
Wow.
So
Okay. So
shout out to crypto because none of this would
I'm
have
a
been
crypto
possible
fan
without
too,
crypto.
man. I made a little bit of money off of it. I didn't stay in it though. I was like, I just want to take what I got and just get out of it for now.
I've actually
Like,
never I've actually never sold any Bitcoin, not once yet.
fuck yeah.
Although I did use Bitcoin to procure these features, but
Hmm.
I didn't have to sell it. There's like companies that will give you loans against your portfolio.
Yep.
It comes with
I'm
a higher bit
familiar
of
with it.
interest, right? Comes
Yeah.
with a higher bit of interest rate. But so I
Uh,
just did that. I just borrowed against my portfolio to buy the features because I believe in myself and the artistry, and I think that it'll recoup the money, and I can just pay it back.
yeah, man. That's absolutely awesome, man. Fuck yeah. I got a little bit of goosebumps right now because like I remember when I first heard about crypto too, and I don't talk about a lot of that on my podcast. It's mostly about the music and stuff like that. But I'm genuinely a fan of crypto.
But yes, so the first one, so like
Yeah.
I said, I signed a three strong deal with Wild Dogs. So Wild Dogs is a label out of New York, owned by DJ J Spins. He's a syndicated radio DJ. I think he shows up on well over 100 stations. Some are digital, multiple are FMs. He's got a deal with iHeartRadio. He's a part of the Fleet DJs crew. Um, I met him. Man, it's probably been 5, 6 years now ago. I met him when I was signed to American Monster Guild, a label here in Vegas. I signed like a 2-song deal with them. The collab I had with Riff Raff came out on that label.
Oh, let's go.
Um, yeah, so I met Jay Spence through the owner of that label because he had, hookups to radio and things of that nature, and I was really wanting to go that route. So I met him back then and we just kept working together. I would have him help me promote and market records as far as radio was going. And so when it came time for this year, and I knew I really wanted to go hard and give it an effort since I had all those gaps and breaks, I was like, he's probably the dude that's going to be able to help me get this the most attention. So I signed the 3-song with him. We have the first one out right now, Whoa, that came out March 7th. And then I believe the Wayne collab's gonna drop like June-ish. Carter 6 comes out, I think, June 6th.
Oh shit.
So yeah, we're gonna wait
You're
till
gonna.
after he's dropped.
Yep. That's the other thing,
One, we
man.
didn't
You
want to
gotta
mess
pay
up. We
attention to
didn't want to
those
mess up his
release dates.
rollout.
Yeah, you gotta pay attention to those release dates, especially if you're releasing features with those artists, man. It can fuck a lot of shit up, man. Like we initially when we released the Wayne track that we had the license for with my one artist, the other two artists didn't have so much of an issue. We had an issue at first with TuneCore, and it was because someone had put Wayne as the primary artist on there, and then they were going through like a legal battle, and it fucked it up for everybody that had that license, which sucks. When you buy a non-exclusive license, that's what happens, guys. You got to be careful what you do because you can fuck it up for anybody else. Um, Even if you're a DJ, like these verses are sold as acapellas to like DJs and producers like that EDM DJs, and they may not use the whole verse. They may chop it up and do whatever the fuck they want with it. It messes it up for them, man. If you don't register your music properly.
Yeah, if you don't say featuring that artist, you're basically fucking yourself and everyone because it makes it seem like you collabed with them. I've even seen it, bro, to where they put the famous artist name first,
Yep.
and then their own name,
Yeah.
or the famous artist first and then featuring their
You
own name.
can't cheat the system like that, dude. I'm sorry. It doesn't work that way.
There's a contract in place you signed for a reason with terms that are specified for a reason.
Dude, and that happened with one of my artists. He accidentally deleted it. You know, your emails get full, and then you just go to the older ones and delete all of them just to make room for whatever it is you're trying to get your email for. Yeah, he did that and deleted a bunch of his licenses. And I was like, dude, you gotta like contact those producers or purchase new licenses. Those licenses might not be available anymore. This is gonna cause a lot of problems. Like, so yeah, man, it's very important to keep those licenses, put them on a few different like little USB drives or something like that, so you have copies of them.
Yeah, and that's kind of why, to be honest, like I'm not knocking licensing for other artists if it's non-exclusive. If that's what your budget is, and that's your opportunity, then take it. Obviously, I would much rather work with these artists in person and have a relationship. Like with the riff rap track that came organically. My production partner has produced, engineered, mixed, and mastered a ton of songs with him. I think he did like, I don't know if it was the Pink Panther or the Tangerine Tiger. He did like one of those whole ass albums.
That's awesome.
I love his names, by the way. All his names are amazing.
Yeah.
That was an organic collaboration and feature because we had a relationship there already. I personally are not super big on non-exclusive license. Like me, I wouldn't normally do it. The Wayne one made sense. It was actually gifted to me, but I didn't have to pay for the license either.
Okay.
I have an industry friend that owns a label that has licensing. He kind of does what you guys do. He licenses stuff out, you know.
Yeah.
But he also has stuff that's exclusive that he'll sell for a bag if you got the bag.
Yeah.
And so he gifted me the Wayne because we did some work together, and I did him some favors here and there. So he gifted me that one. And then I was like, well, yo, what's up with your exclusives? He's like, bro, you got to have a bag. I'm like, well, turns out I do. So what's up? And so he showed me what was available, you know, and I grabbed them. So, but here's my plan. Since it wasn't like we got to work together on the actual song, I plan on dropping another bag to have these artists in the videos. Obviously, Pop Smoke, that ain't gonna happen. But for the Post Malone, Jack Harlow collab, I do plan on having those guys in the video. So then I will get to meet them, will get to work with them. You know, then they also hear the complete product. Because a lot of times, let's be honest, if you release one of these songs, you make it, you put it out, that artist is probably not gonna hear you. Unless you make some crazy noise. You
have to make some noise. It's got to be a banger. Like the songs might, like I said, the Wayne track that we dropped, 500,000 streams, 600. It's almost at 1 million streams now. A year later, it performs well, but Wayne's never gonna see that track. I mean, it's a decent track. You know, and I'm proud of that track. I'm proud of my artists that put that track out. And yeah, it fit our budget at the time. It's an unlimited license, and we can sync license it. I know the person who owns I talk directly to the copyright owner for it. So if I need to license it for something else, then I can. It's going to cost extra money for that.
Sure.
Yeah. But I can get the release of the clearances on the licenses that we have if need be. But the unlimited license is good. It's budget friendly. But again, and M80 also has, exclusive verses that he can sell, but they're a bag. They're 50, 100,000. He can get you to you want to sit in the studio with Snoop? Yeah, sure. You got the money. You better come with that fucking money. If you, I swear to God, if you hit up that man and you do not have money ready to send to that guy, he'll come at me, and then he'll come at my artist, and he'll be like, why did you send this guy to me? Like, don't ever fucking do that.
Waste my time. Yeah, you're just wasting my time.
Don't ever do that, man. Yeah, but yeah, these connections are not easy to come by, and you have to foster them. You have to treat them properly. And yeah, they cost money, a lot of money.
Yeah, you have to definitely build a rapport with people. and don't waste people's time. Like, especially at this level, I'm not saying I'm at a level. I still consider myself an emerging artist. I'm a very humble emerging artist,
Yeah, man.
but
But you
I'm
do
trying
have,
to
I
get,
mean, you've got some good connections though, man. Like it's crazy. And but you also have the funding for it too, man, which is nice. I mean, and granted, if had you not invested in Bitcoin all those years ago, you might not be in the same situation you are financially now to be able to afford to do this kind of stuff. And you know, it takes spending money to make money in the music industry at the end of the day.
back.
You
At the end of the day, everything is marketing and promotion, and there's no free marketing and promotion. You know, it's you're paying every step of the way. So people will be like, "Oh, you paid for that." Okay, yeah.
yeah.
You know why? Because so
Mm.
did everyone else. It's industry
So
standard.
did
People
so did
people will
everyone
say it to
else.
me like I cheated somehow. Like, oh, you paid for that. Yeah, no shit. So did everyone else. Like, the only time you're seeing a feature article in a blog or a magazine that wasn't paid for is if it's like Drake or Wayne or Taylor Swift. Yeah, they're not paying
When they're
for it.
making
Anyone
other
who,
tabloid headlines too, they're on like TMZ and MTV and all these other, you know, like they're already in that. It's not surprising to have an article written about them. Like they don't have to pay for it anymore.
but everyone below that level, like, I hate to break it to everyone, but like, you're paying.
Hmm.
That's the nature of the beast of this game. But yeah, like, a lot of my connections honestly came from throwing shows forever. Like I said, I used to throw shows forever. So I was part of a group here called Dub Church for a while. It was a weekly free dubstep, drum and bass music party. We had Kill the Noise. We had A Skills, Crafty Cut, Split Breed. We had a bunch of dope, big at the time dubstep artists. And my role in our crew was kind of what you do. I did the artist relations. I worked with the headliners we were booking. I dealt with
Okay.
the contract. I dealt with paying the booking fees, arranging the flights, making sure visas are good, hotels, picking them up, bringing them there, all that. So my whole job was contract review, artist relations, and booking the talent. And then the other guys in the crew were like the DJs. Um, that was kind of their thing.
Entertainers, artists, yeah, yeah,
They were promoters, they were entertainers, like, people like their faces, so that
yeah.
was that was their job. So between doing that, one, I learned how to negotiate the whole process, and I learned the contracts and the review of contracts and how that all works. And so I started meeting agents as well, because I'm having to book these artists.
Right.
So doing that throughout the years, I started meeting people that were important in their niche of what they did. And then also I was starting to meet bigger artists. Like, when these artists came, I like to think of myself as a pretty friendly and get alongable with guy, if that's a
Yeah,
word.
yeah, man. You seem pretty humble. Like I enjoy hanging. At least our company so far, man.
Good
This
hang
is a
so far, yeah. Yeah,
it's
good
great.
hang so
Yeah.
far. So when I would meet these guys, we would kind of just hit it off. And then most of these artists I still talk to this day. And then, I started deciding, I want to be an artist. And that's when I had my first release in 2014, because I would MC, like, a lot of the dubstep or drum bass. We would just switch off MCs, live MCing over whoever we had. That's just, off the top of your head stuff. But after
Yeah.
doing that for a while, I'm like, man, I feel like I want to be the artist up here.
Bro,
So,
that's how I felt as a DJ. I was like, man, and then I tried doing music production and I tried recording. I was like, I don't like the way it sounds. I don't. And I kind of I gave that up, and I was like, all right, I'll be a DJ. It's just fun. I like entertaining. I liked seeing people dance and smile and have fun. I would make like mashups and stuff. I don't know if you checked out any of my recent content that I've been doing. This was stuff that I was doing years ago, but I didn't really like get into social media until like as of like recently, and then I didn't get back into music and entertainment until like about 2 years ago. So like I was just kind of in the corporate world doing my thing. I'd make little fun mixes here and there. I wasn't serious about it, and then I met somebody who kind of pushed me to really be creative and get down to it and learn how to do more creative things. And then also I became a sponge when I just started learning about all these contracts and licenses and stuff. And I was like, man, I want to know all about this shit. And just soaked it all up, man. It sounds like you went through the same process. Like you were kind of like put into it because you were like the tour manager and the you know the label or what again. You weren't a label, an entertainment company. You know, you were managing that whole company altogether. How did you go about like finding the shows for? So it was a group of like DJs. You're saying essentially, right? That you have.
Yeah, so I had just moved back from Australia, and this DJ at the time, Michael Toast, we had been friends for a while. He knew I'd thrown all kind of different parties out here, and was really good at getting people in. And I guess he had met up with the dude who originally started the party. His name was George. He goes by BPSS. Um, and George had approached him about trying to step the party up. I think before everyone got involved, it was kind of like at a pool hall was
Okay.
the venue, you know, a
All right.
cool little venue, local venue,
Yeah.
right? So he approached the toast guy, and then he was like, "Yeah, I think maybe if we join forces, we could probably do something." He's like, "But I have another guy that I'd like to bring in that I think could help us on the business side as well as the promotion side." He's like, "He's in Australia right now, but he's coming back soon. Let's all have a meeting." So when I came back, we all had a meeting,
Hmm.
and yeah, so I got involved, and immediately when we started the party, we went from a pool hall to Mandalay Bay on the Las Vegas Strip. A pretty big jump in a venue.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
So we did that at Foundation Room for about a year. I think it's the 65th floor of Mandalay Bay. It's a beautiful view. We were kind of shocked they let us do it there because no one was really fucking with dubstep and bass music like that at the time. It was all hip hop and house still. House, 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 hip hop, hip hop, hip,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah.
That's all the clubs were in Vegas. So we started smashing out those dubstep shows and bringing the talent. And yeah, that's kind of how I got involved, man. I just kind of got asked to help bring the level up and bring some attention to it and get it rocking. And I just ended up joining those guys. I worked with them for about like 2.5 years. I think the party continued for a little while after me. But the whole time I was still doing my own thing too. Like I had a company called Loose Cannon Promotions and Management. I managed a couple DJs and producers, and I threw my own parties. So
And
I was doing the thing with.
you would book them those DJs shows and stuff like that.
So sometimes I would have the guys that were in the Dub Church thing be on my events as well.
Hmm.
But I tried to keep them separate, you know. I would bring those guys in for certain things. Like I did a show in San Diego with Split Breed and Raw. He's a
I don't.
really known, really big drum and bass music from like
Okay.
the LA scene.
Okay.
So I did a show with them in San Diego, and I brought one of the Dub Church guys with me. He goes by Joey Vegas now, but at the time he was going by Rockstar. And so I always kind of like try to bring everyone and make everyone be involved in everything as much as I can, you know?
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so I was mostly doing shows on my own, and then once a week I was doing a show with them. So it's kind of hard to juggle. Um, there was a couple artists that I met when they like just moved out here, just started producing, DJing, whatever, that I had worked up till they got a decent name under them, and then right as I thought we had made some momentum and they were starting to pop, they just kind of stopped. Um, so I've
That
dealt with that a few
sucks,
times
man.
too, like building up talent, getting them to where I thought they were getting on
Hmm.
the path, and either something in their life changed or they just
Uh,
no longer had that dream anymore.
I mean, like I got to that point. I mean, like when I was DJing, like I said, I was DJing for about 15 years. My mom was doing karaoke DJing for 20 years. I picked it up. I started doing, the karaoke thing, private events, nightclub DJing. I started hosting my own events. I started working with a bunch of college kids here in New Jersey at the Monmouth University. And they were like promoters and they would promote throw these events. I'd make the flyers. I had a bunch of DJ friends and we just put together events and it was fun. I was making money. And then eventually I got tired of I was like, man, staying up till 4 a.m. and then sleeping till like 1
Yeah,
o'clock and like it gets to you. And I was just like, I'd rather just go work a regular job for a while. And I lost it. I lost that passion for it. But at the time I was really enjoying it. It was fun, and it felt like I was just wasting my whole day, and like I was always up at night, and I didn't like it. I don't know. It just
Yeah,
that's what
that's kind of
happened to
what burnt
me, at
me out
least.
too. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what burnt me out too. Is like so doing the dub church thing, like it would end at like 3, 4 in the morning, and by the
Mhm.
time we'd finish everything up and get home, it'd be like 5, 6 in the
The
morning.
sun's coming up.
And in 2011, I had we had my son,
Mhm.
and coming home at 4, 5, 6 in the morning when a kid wakes up around that
Oh
time,
man,
not good. So I wasn't really getting sleep, and then also from being in the military, like I'm a morning person, bro. So like I wake up just early, just no alarm, I just wake up. So if I go to bed at 4 a.m.,
that
I'm still gonna
internal
wake up at like
clock.
7 or 8 a.m.
Yeah.
and then I'm just tired all day. So
Yep.
uh, I kind of got tired of throwing the shows, and that's also what kind of made me start to want to do the artistry. Is at least I don't have to be out at 6 in the morning.
Hmm. So is this your full time thing now? You said so. You signed with this label. When you signed with them, was it like did you get like an advance? Was it just a did you get negotiate your percentage of the ownership of music? Um, and like I guess like do you have like a day job too? As
No day
well?
job.
Or, okay,
No. So
full time
I
dad.
own a couple companies. We'll get touched into all this too. So I actually
Okay.
co-own a couple FM radio stations. My dad's been in the radio business for 50 years,
That's something
and
I'm genuinely interested in, man. Like I've been looking a lot into starting like an internet radio station.
like a
Um,
digital station.
yeah, to help independent artists and like I want to get the licensing so that they get paid for their spins, and I want to educate independent artists on how to register their music properly to get paid for these spins, so that they're kind of like forced down the path of oh, this is a routine. I'm gonna do this and this and this when I submit my music to my distributor, and they kind of develop that mentality of running their own label in a sense, you know.
So you want to teach good habits and how to actually be successful.
Yes.
I like that.
um
But yes, so
but yeah, so yeah,
my dad
that's
was in the
awesome.
radio, I believe. Sorry, what was that?
No, I just said that's awesome, man.
Oh
You have
yeah.
family that's in radio and entertainment, so this is kind of, it runs in your family a little bit.
Yeah, so my dad got into radio when he was like 15. I think he like after eighth or ninth, I think it was after eighth grade, he became like an apprentice at a radio station in South Georgia. And within like a year or two of working there, the guy that owned it was older. He was going to sell it. My dad just ended up buying it. So he was an owner of his first FM at like, I think 18 or 19 years old.
That's
And
crazy. When was this?
that's
How what year?
50 years ago, bro. So
This was like,
he,
yeah, and that's a big thing, man, because that's how a lot of people got their information back in that day. It's crazy. And
yeah. So
he's still running it. Is the company's still in business, or
I mean, he's sold off stations. I think right now he owns like 40 FMs across the United States.
crazy? All right.
Um, yeah, so he obviously loved it because he stuck with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was also like an on-air DJ, on-air talent for a while in the '80s, in like in Atlanta on B98.5, which is still a
I
radio
know
station today.
B98.
There,
I know B98 in New Jersey at least. I remember that.
okay.
I remember listening to that as a kid.
Yeah, so my dad was like he was like an on-air personality DJ in the '80s. We moved around a good bit, too, or whatever. But my parents got divorced when I was super young, and then that whole thing played out. But
Same, dude.
so
I went
yeah,
through it too. But I was 6 when my parents got divorced.
I was 6 when my parents got divorced. That's
96,
crazy. See, we got a lot of
96
common,
for
bro.
me, but
But
that's
yeah, so like
funny.
at like 3 or 4 years old, he had me doing voice tracks for commercials. So
You
very
definitely
early on,
you definitely have a voice for that. I could hear it.
yeah, his is way bassier. I love his voice actually. He has the face for radio.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the joke. I got a beautiful face,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
That's the
so
age old joke.
I was doing commercials very young, and then like when I got older, I sold advertisement. I was a board operator, so I learned a lot of that part of the business as well. And then later in life, on my own accord, my dad came to me and asked, hey, I'm about to start a station in Hawaii. I'm getting a group of investors together. Would you want to throw in? And so I throw in on that one, and so
Right.
I'm a partner in that one. And there's also like a hip hop station in Mississippi he has that I've been trying to weasel my way into for a while.
Ooh, okay.
But yeah, so I have the radio station thing going on, and then me and my best friend have a business together where we invest and flip in real estate here in Las Vegas. So that's like my main gig is project managing these real estate projects we do.
Okay.
So that's, I guess, that's what you would call my day job in theory.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's also something that's not like you have tasks to do on a daily basis for. It's just like, all right, I gotta check on this property. I gotta do this, get this permit for this one, right?
So we just finished up. We bought two. We bought one in January and one in February so far this year. We just finished the first one. I think the second one finished yesterday. So one's on the market. One will be on the market by this weekend. So I mean, that's like my
commercial properties or
residential homes. Okay. I like to make new homes for families, bro. My goal or our goal is to make a beautiful home for families that are starting out and a nice safe space they can grow their family. We're both family guys. We both are single dads with sons. So I had actually grown up watching all these flipping shows. And I kind of always wanted to do it, like I always knew I wanted to do it. It's funny like that about life is I feel like I have at least attempted to do everything I ever wanted to. I've at least given it kind of a try. And for a lot of the things, I've actually been successful at them. I've been successful at the throwing parties. I've been successful at the real estate. So I guess really, yeah, my full-time job would be the music. That's or at least my main focus is the music because I could spend 4 or 5 hours a week on one of these flip projects, and then I have the rest of the time to focus on the music. So this year I've literally just dove in on the music, dropped the bag to get all the features.
That's awesome. Where I know, and again, it's good to see like artists. Like, I mean, the last time you released something was last year, and I don't know if you were thinking about this last year or if this was something that.
Well, like this last year, I realized that I had a gap again, and I had told myself a few years back I wasn't going to have any more gaps. I was just going to stay consistent, release, because it seems like every time I get momentum and I get my name going and I get my monthly listeners to where they stay the same for like months and months and months.
Yeah.
I stopped putting out music and then it, right? So I told myself I'm going to do that again. And then I noticed
nosedive on the chart and you're like your heart drops a little bit and you're like, damn, I kick myself in the fucking ass. Like,
and then I noticed I was repeating the pattern. So I'm like, okay, I can't do this. So I started making plans to go hard last year. Okay. And on last year's release, has 250,000 streams on TikTok. Awesome. Almost 100,000 on Spotify. It performed okay for what it was,
Which track was this?
That was Little Turn Up.
Little Turn Up? Okay.
Yeah, 2024's release. I've actually it's like some people care, some people don't. I've actually charted in 9 countries on iTunes.
That's awesome, man. No, dude, and that's the thing. So how do you find out that you charted on countries and like what platforms were they on? I'm curious. What tools do you use?
I subscribe to chartmetric.com. I pay for their little artist account. I think it's like $10 a month.
Yeah.
You can see all kind of analytics about yourself. They compile your followers across all your socials and your different music platforms you're on. They check in news like real blogs, like not some bullshit, but like if you're in like The Source or Billboard or Rolling Stone, like it'll show up. Mm-hmm. They track all the charts. They track radio. So if you did hit something, it'll show up on there and let you know, like, hey, you charted number 67 in Russia.
Yep.
We were actually running campaigns of ads specifically targeting certain places to get people to buy the tracks on iTunes. So it's not like it was a fluke. We literally had a game plan.
Yeah, you knew that was coming.
Yeah, we had a plan. We invested. I mean, it's never guaranteed, because you can't guarantee the people are going to buy the record after they see the ad. But we just kept retargeting people with the ads until they bought it. So you don't even know where you're going to chart because these ads are being seen by people all over the world unless you are going for a particular location and you just hone in on that. But we were doing worldwide at the time. Yeah. So And then Jay Spence has multiple different reportings he belongs to, like Media Base and a couple others.
Yeah, because he does what he does for a living. I
Radio.
understand.
Yeah. So one of them I didn't even know I had charted until he hit me up and let me know. So the track with Riff Raff charted in Russia on iTunes. I've charted in Vietnam, Malaysia, UK, Russia, a couple others I can't think of off the top of my head. And then we've had some success on Amazon too. And I would like to point out that when you're charting on these like iTunes and Amazon, this is for sales. This isn't for streams. We're selling records. They might be digital records. We're still selling records.
Yep.
So Amazon, I've charted on Amazon, I think 4 different records, and my highest chart on Amazon was number 2. I was only beaten out by Megan Thee Stallion, and she's super famous, and I'm not. So.
She's super famous, and I'm not. I contest. I'm proud of my number 2.
I'm super proud to get that number 2, bro.
Dude, that's an achievement, man. Y'all, you should definitely celebrate that. Share that on your social media. Like, that's definitely something to be proud of. It doesn't matter what country it's in, man. Like, if your song's being played as an artist, like if I was an artist and I released music, and I've had all of my artists have told me the same thing. They're just happy that someone else is listening to it and appreciates it.
Yeah, 100%. And then to know that people not only listen to it,
thousands of people in a whole nother country that you may not have ever been to, you've never seen these people, and they're sitting there listening to your music, jamming out to it.
Yeah, like right now, I know for a fact I'm getting played on 10 digital stations in Brazil and 2 FMs in Brazil.
That's awesome.
And we're getting daily reports. So I know in the United States, I'm also worked out almost the same. We're on 10 digitals here in the United States, and I believe 4 FMs as well.
So I have a question. Maybe it's maybe a little more personal question. How much does it cost to get on those stations, or is it because of your partner through the label? Did you have access to these stations beforehand because like your family's in radio already, or I'm just curious, or what would it cost an artist? Because I'm curious for my artist, because I want to get my artists on radio.
Yeah, I wish some of that was true. So obviously paying to get on the radio is illegal, and it has been for quite some time in our country. It's called payola.
Yeah.
So it's super frowned upon. Super frowned upon.
I wanted you to say that.
I believe it is a felony because it is the FCC, so that would make you a federal felon. Does it go on still? 100%. It definitely goes on.
Yeah.
Am I involved in it? No, not at all. Now, I would love to say that being in the radio business helps me get on the radio, and unfortunately, it does not. Because being a radio owner and knowing other owners of radio, most stations either have a music director or a program director. And a lot of times, these program directors don't even work directly at the station. They're in some other market. Like, for example, my dad's stations are mostly in the Southeast or the South Pacific, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the guy that programs all the stations lives in Colorado.
Yeah,
he's in none of those markets.
Yeah,
right.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for example, when we got ready to release this new single, I hit my dad. I'm like, "Hey, what's our program director's contact?" And I got the email. Sent him an email. Sent him the DJ pack. Sent him the release.
Yep.
He didn't even email me back, bro. He never even responded. And it's like in a roundabout way. Because I'm a co-owner of the station in Hawaii, it's like, you're technically my employee, and I couldn't even get a response. So that does not help me get on the radio whatsoever, unfortunately. So all the radio plugs are Jay Spins, because he's a DJ. He's a syndicated DJ. He's on the radio. So that's him, brother. Like, I got to shout out him, tip my hat. Like,
so
he's getting me on the radio.
Contacting, so you would say for artists trying to get on the radio, right? Contact the radio DJs maybe, as opposed to the program directors, if you can.
So on the DJs, if you get it to the DJs, you're gonna get put on like mix shows. Like, like Drive Time, they got like DJ Franzen or someone, right?
Yeah.
They're mixing the Drive Time.
Mm-hmm.
That's where your song's gonna get dropped, because one, they're not playing your whole song.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep, they're gonna mash it up with something else. It's gonna be a little set. Yeah.
So you're not gonna get royalties on that, because it's not a full play of your song.
No.
Right? So by doing it that way, by hitting up the DJs, you're going to get in a mix show. A piece of your song's going to be heard. That's a great way. The DJ's not going to be able to give you actual rotation on the station, unfortunately, unless that DJ also happens to be the music director or program director, and that's rare these days. Like in the 50s, 60s, yeah, you'd have that. Now it's, like I told you, it's usually outsourced to someone else. So really, artists need to, one, make connections with these DJs so you can have an opportunity to get on these mix shows. And then secondly, there are people that sell lists that have the emails of these program directors. Possibly I would find a better deal on one because there's a bunch of companies that offer these services. Find the cheapest one if that's the budget you have, right?
Right.
Get these lists. Make a really nice EPK. Make a really nice DJ pack with all, your a little bit about yourself, the cover art, a wave file, and now email this with a really nice email to all these PDs across the country. Are they going to write you back or even connect to you? Probably not. Let's be honest.
Some of them might just open it and play it. It might not even say anything to you. Like,
yeah, and like that's so we can see, like with ours, we can see every time it's been opened and whether or not they downloaded it, right? And
that's
so
that's part of your email campaign, whatever your Constant Contact or MailChimp or whatever you use to send out your emails.
I'm not sure what Spins is using, but yeah, whatever he's using, it definitely reports, right?
They can report back to you and tell you whether it's been open, whether they clicked on the link, yada, yada, yada. I'm familiar with it.
Yes, sir. So let's go rule of thumb with life. I feel like life gives you like a 10% rule, right? If you do something, like 10% of people are going to respond or resonate, right? So let's say you send it out to 1,000 PDs. 100 of them might hit you back. It's possible.
Yeah. 100 of them hit you back, that would be a good number, is what I'm saying.
Out of those 100, let's say out of those 100, 10 of them decide to play it.
Right? Exactly.
So my advice would also be to these artists that college radio is also a huge market that is overlooked, extremely overlooked. They're more inclined to play your music because they'll play the indie and oddball stuff. They'll play that.
I've got the college radio handbook.
Okay, awesome. Yeah,
I'm familiar with it.
And then you have a good chance as well as those stations would possibly be open to having you on a guest, like kind of what me and you are doing today. Maybe they'd have you on, come be an on-air interview or whatever, speak about your song. So I would hit to college radios, I would hit DJs, and I would hit PDs. And that's going to be your best chance of getting on the radio. And then obviously you're going to have to stay consistent. Unfortunately, a lot of these program directors that run these FMs, they're just looking at Billboard top 100, top 200. If you're not on one of those charts, whether it's the indie, the hip hop, the rock, the top 200, if you're not on that, odds are they're not adding your song to rotation. They're just not. Now, some of these smaller markets, because a lot of the smaller and mid-tier markets, they just copy what the majors are doing. But the majors are only playing Billboard hits. So your smaller markets, they're going to play the Billboard hits, but if there's some artist that's making some noise in town and popping, they'll play that guy. You got to make yourself become that guy. Now, a lot of artists also feel, I think, that I see it all the time, bro. They think because they went to the studio, they made the song, they got the cover art, they're done. They just got to put it out. That was 30% of your job.
Not even 30%. That's not even there. Maybe I'd say 25% of your job, probably. Because then
I'll do that too.
Yeah, like maybe even less than that, because you still have to do your rollout. You still have to market it and promote it. You have to go contact the publishers, like The Source, and get article placements. And that shit costs money too. You have to go. There's still people out there that make CDs and go out and sell them in front of 7-Eleven, guys. Like,
seriously, if you come to Las Vegas and you're ever on the Strip, I swear to God, you will either be hit with a CD, and some of these guys have gotten smart, and now they have the little thumb drives.
USB drives, yep.
You'll be like, oh, I don't have a CD player. Like, oh, got you on the thumb drive,
I was
bro.
just out in Vegas not too long ago. I'm supposed to be coming out there in July or August to help my friend DZ move. And film some music videos for him. But but yeah, man, I was out there. We stayed on Fremont, and I mean, we walked up and down Fremont, just Fremont Street, and I got hit with at least 4 or 5 CDs. Like I was like, bro, I was like, I appreciate it, man. I can't right now. I'm not here for that, you know. And but yeah, man, people are still out there, and that's still a way to get your music out there. It's still a way to get your music heard. People use apps like Shazam to find out where they can actually listen to your music if they like the song enough.
Yeah, and I mean, let's look at like case history of stories like Ludacris. Ludacris was actually a radio DJ at Hot 97.5 in Atlanta.
Yeah. Yep.
He was on the
I
radio,
remember.
right? They weren't even letting him play his songs because they were like, well,
that's biased.
You're just
that's not fair. Yeah.
So this man was selling CDs out the trunk of his car all around Atlanta. When he would do like live remotes and shit, he was selling his CDs. When he wasn't on the radio, he was selling his CDs. He sold like, I think, 1 million units out the back of his car. Well, then the radio station took him seriously.
They were like,
started playing it.
You gotta have,
then he quit.
You gotta have the receipts for it too, man. You gotta have the receipts for that. He still released all of his music. He still had UPCs. He had his ISRC codes and all that stuff registered so that he could show it to the radios, and get them to take him seriously. Because you could say, yeah, I went out and got rid of these, and here's the receipts for the CDs. Like, you prove it.
Yeah,
so
prove it.
It all comes back to making sure you register your music properly again, too.
Yeah, so he was able to prove it. The radio station obviously picked up the songs. He relinquished his position there, and look at him now, bro. He's been in movies. The man's a superstar.
Man, so he didn't have a face for radio. He had a face for film and TV.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he obviously did, right?
Obviously.
So there have been blueprints laid out by other artists before us, and so success doesn't have to be as complicated as people think, because there are blueprints and game plans out there. Now, obviously, the industry changes every so many years, and selling 1 million units out the trunk of your car is not as realistic as it once was, but it's still definitely possible. Like you said, there's still people doing it, but just make sure it's registered and it's proper. Even if you're selling the little USB drive, if it's got the UPC and the ISRC code and it's registered properly, selling those USB drives counts as a record sale. It's no different than selling on iTunes.
Yep.
I have a lot of people that will come at me online and they'll be like, oh, well, you paid for this or you paid for that, like in regards to like placements or interviews or whatever. And it's like, well, no shit. That's the industry. So what you really just told me is...
Don't want to be clear. I didn't ask you for payment to be...
Yeah, no, not yeah, exactly. Thank you, and I appreciate that. Matty does it right. But yeah, a lot of those places, they want you to pay, and then people will be like, "Oh, you paid for that," and it's like, yeah, no shit, bro. Just congratulations on saying you know nothing about how the industry works. People are getting paid all the way to the top and all the way back down to the bottom. And if you want to stand out, if you think just putting your music out and that's it, you're not going to make it. If you're not paying for these lists, like you said, you have some of those lists. If they're not paying for lists to be able to hit up these colleges, to be able to hit up these program directors, to be able to hit up these DJs, if you're not paying for lists to submit to major labels or whatever, if you're not out here paying to get in blogs or to do podcasts
or anything like that, yeah,
you have to advertise it. You're really you're setting yourself up for failure. Right. Like, okay, so you asked me earlier, and I don't think we ever answered the question on what I got out of the label deal.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah. I didn't get an advance, but we negotiated certain parameters of what would happen with each release. Okay. So I'm getting X amount of dollars in promotion and marketing out of them for every single release.
Okay.
Like, guaranteed spin on their end.
Okay.
And there's obviously a spin on my end that was agreed upon. That I have to I don't have to match them completely, but I have to throw in, and they give me X amount of dollars for the first release. The first release is out. We collectively put what we got in it. It's performing pretty decent.
And you guys split the performance royalties?
Yeah, 50%.
Okay.
So anything we sell on iTunes, whatever, they're going to get half, I'm going to get half. But this is after we recoup our initial investment as well, I believe. Right. I believe. I might want to go read that again, but I think so. I think we're recouping and then we're going 50-50, right?
Right.
But that's
So
cool because when I go perform or anything else, I'm still getting on that mechanical rights. Like when it's playing on the radio, that's still me.
yeah,
They're just getting the sales and the streaming, right?
right,
And that's fine because they put a bag of money behind it. So this first one was the lower bag, right?
right.
It's just me and another local artist here in Vegas on the track. A dude that I've had work with me multiple times named Zell. I actually met him through my girlfriend. He was her friend first. And then she's like, oh, my friend does music. I listened to some of his music. I brought him in the studio. We made a couple songs. And through music, we have now become friends.
Awesome.
So
I'd love to
I
hear
have him
that.
on it. We just passed 50,000 streams on TikTok with that record. Now, obviously, the next record's going to be the Wayne collab. The budget on that one steps up quite considerably on their end. And then we'll follow that up a few months later with that Jack Harlow and Split Breed collab. It was originally just going to be me and Jack Harlow, but my production partner, like I said, he used to be in Split Breed, or I guess he still is in Split Breed. They just haven't been very prevalent or out there lately. Because he was focused on other projects and other things as well. And plus the other two boys in Split Breed, like they blew up in crypto. They're rich as fuck now. And it's like, you know, they spend a
Like
lot of their time talking about crypto. They have crypto podcasts. They're like at conferences
they're
and
like,
you know,
yeah,
it's
we
their whole
don't make music anymore.
yeah. I mean they do.
We
So
do
and
well. I
I
mean,
understand.
it's kind of interesting to see people go from like, yeah, there were these big artists. Like I follow T-Pain, for example, right? So like, and he talked about it on his he streams on Twitch, so I watch his Twitch stream a lot.
Yeah.
But like he talks about it on there, like people are like, Wayne, you know, or T-Pain, why aren't you working on new music or anything like that? And he's like, because I'm enjoying my life. Like if I want to make music, then I'll make a song. Like I don't want to be forced to make a song. Like he just got to a point where like now he's made considerable amount of money, and now he's investing it in like his like drifting and car events and stuff like that, and stuff that he enjoys doing, and then he does the music when he feels inspired to do music, like he you know, or he needs money, like
I saw one where he said he made like a lot of millions of dollars just playing video games on Twitch.
oh yeah. Oh
Like,
yeah, he plays video games on Twitch. He sits there and makes music, like, and then he goes and releases it. Like he does production work on there too. You know, he kind of just streams his life. He's now doing like IRL streams. I just noticed. Like
oh, cool.
he's got like a little portable setup that's going on sets and stuff with him where he's recording and shit. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so this one, I basically kind of brought those guys out. I wouldn't say they retired, but it feels like it.
Well, Jack Harlow hasn't put out. When was the last time he put something out, man?
I don't know. I don't even
That
know.
was a while ago. Post Malone.
So,
He's on his country kick now. So you doing a country song with Post? Or do
no,
you don't
no.
want to give out too much information?
Believe it or not, though, here's the thing. I'm not against that. I actually did write 2 country songs last year. I don't like. Granted, I put out stuff that's kind of hip hopish and hip hoppy, or some would say it's hip hop. I also make other things. Like I produce EDM under a different alias. It's Grade A, Grayd, and then A. I release all genres of EDM under that name. And actually, the Wayne collab I co-produced with Genius, so that's going to be my first major production credit. And instead of using the alias I use for EDM, it's gonna be this artist name TM. So I'll be co-produce the track TM and B Genius, my track TM, and then featuring Wayne or whatever. But yeah, so I kind of got the Split Breed Boys out of retirement in theory because I'm like, hey, I got this Jack Harlow song, and
Y'all want
I think you guys would be fucking sick on it.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So let's go to the studio and give me a verse. And so the
That's
other reason
awesome.
I wanted to get other reason I wanted to get him on it is like, well, it attracts now not just my audience that I'm still building. Obviously,
Mhm.
Jack Harlow's got an audience, but they
Yeah,
have an audience. And not only do they have an audience in music, but now because they're like super known in the crypto space, if they tell their crypto fans about it, now I got all those people crossing over like, oh shit, you guys make music? Because some of them people don't know they even did it.
Funny. You know what's crazy? I didn't even think about this until just now. So one of the artists I work with, he goes by the name of Kanye East on TikTok.
Okay.
You go look him up. You'll have a laugh. He makes funny content. But he's also a serious artist too, right? So I'm his manager. He went viral like a few years ago for a song called Fortnite Balls. I don't know.
Okay.
Went viral on TikTok. It's got over 1 million plays on Spotify. It's going on 2 million now. And so he goes on, he does Cameo, right? So he makes his money on Cameo. So he goes on Cameo and does videos for birthdays and graduations and all different kinds of stuff on there, and he makes a good amount of money on there, right?
Okay.
Afroman's manager ordered a Cameo from him and was starting a crypto coin on Solana, like a meme coin, when the whole meme coin craze was going on, right?
100%.
Yeah, and joined this whole Telegram group and all this stuff, and Afroman would go on there and X and do all this crazy shit, and he was trying to get Mike.
Pump and dump, or is this going to end up being a pump and dump story?
Yeah, it was a pump and dump, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what happened, but yeah, so it was funny because you had the same reaction that Afroman had when Mike joined as Kanye East in in his X Spaces meeting. He was like, Kanye East, I gotta have him in a music video with me. I can't afford Kanye West.
Oh god,
dude, it was funny as hell, bro. But yeah, he's actually supposed to be played out here at the House of Independence on 420, and I want to try to go to the show.
Did you ever see the video where karate chop that girl on stage?
No.
Yeah, bro. Go look that up. Afroman karate chops girl.
Wait. I gotta see.
I don't know what the situation was behind it, but after I saw that, I'm like, I don't know if I can fuck with dude anymore. I hear karate chopping bitches and shit.
All I know is that it was something weird. They ended up relaunching the coin, and we put all of our original coins into a wallet, and we were given like an NFT or something when the new coin launched. And I have the NFT in my Phantom wallet, but can't do nothing with it.
I can post it in the chat right here, right? If I post it in the chat to you?
Yeah, I can see it.
There you go. Bro, it's a fucking TMZ story, for Christ's sakes.
Wait.
I'm surprised you never saw that.
When was 4 years ago? Holy shit. All right. This man's running for president in 2028 too. You know that? Yeah, he's doing a little presidential campaign shit, bro.
That's the dumbest shit I've ever. Like, that's just a waste of money. You know how much money it costs to be the president? Like, or just to run? Like, you guys, it's like, so, okay, so that lets me know.
I try not to get into political shit, but yeah, you can tell.
I'm not into politics either.
I want to hear what you have to say.
This is more of a tax thing. If this guy's willing to run for president to purposely lose a bunch of money, that lets you know he's trying to have millions of dollars of losses to cover some other fuck shit he's done on his taxes. Because why would you do something that you, let's be honest, have no shot at winning, right? Like, has he even been in politics before? Like, is he been on like city level?
I didn't even. I thought it was funny, man. I was like, "There's no way this man is running for fucking president." Like,
To me, it sounds like a purpose cash burn. Like you're purposely
I don't
burning
know.
cash
It
on something.
might. I mean, maybe it's a marketing campaign for the music he's been trying to release recently. He's trying to like revive himself.
Sure.
Maybe
But
that's what
again,
it is.
hey,
But
and then at least then that marketing budget's a write off because again, you ran for an office, you didn't win, you claim that on your taxes, you get that difference, and now you can use real money to promote the fucking record. You know what I'm saying? It's almost genius. So I
crazy.
think I should run for president, is what you're saying.
I'm not saying you
Yeah,
should do.
talking
You
him,
could.
bro. I got a
You
better
could.
shot. I got a better shot at being president
Yeah.
than Afro Man. Only because, yeah, he's famous, but I'm a combat veteran. Like, come on. I would vote for me before I'd vote for Afro Man.
Do you want that responsibility though?
Hell no. Hell no. No, sir.
Oh, that's
Not
funny.
at all.
Oh shit, man. So tell me about this the song you sent over, man. Whoa. It's definitely different from a lot of the other stuff that you've put out from what had a chance to listen to. Um I like it though. I'm honestly like a fan of that style of music as well, and I definitely think it's something that could possibly go viral on TikTok again if promoted properly. Um if it was me personally, I would definitely like go find some TikTok dancers,
Influencers.
influencers, and just throw them a couple bucks to
Did the dancer thing. I had, obviously, again, you got to pay for this shit, people.
money, money,
This
money.
shit ain't free. So I paid for 3 of the dance videos that you see on TikTok when you look up the song. I admit that. I paid for 3. But by paying for those 3, if you look, I've had multiple other organic ads because people saw those dance videos. You just got to get the flame started, you know?
You
So,
got to put a little kindling in there, man. I mean, yeah, it's
yeah,
like
throw on it.
yeah, it's kind of like burning money a little bit. Like you got to burn a little bit. You got to throw a little bit in.
Yeah.
Get a little
So,
get a little friction going, right?
I think hitting like an influencer might help for sure. But right now, how we've gotten the 50,000 streams is we run TikTok ad campaigns. So
Okay.
again, we're spending money on an ad on TikTok that's trying to get people to use our sound in any video, dance, taking a shit on the toilet, out on the woods. We don't care what the video, just use the sound. You know what I'm saying? Like feeding their dog, whatever. Just so we spend money on that campaign, right? I should probably definitely spend some money on an influencer or two. I haven't went that route yet. I do have a friend who's pretty famous on TikTok. He's a little person. I've known him since 3rd grade, and
Okay.
he's a super famous little person as well because he's been in a bunch of movies. Like he was in
Okay.
some Marvel movies. He was in Ant-Man.
No, that's funny.
He just this morning tagged me and said he used one of my songs, but it was the last one I was telling you about, Little Turnip, that's already at 250,000. He
Okay.
put that in a video today, and he has several videos that have like 30, 40, 50 million on TikTok. So
Let's
maybe
go.
maybe it'll help out and do something. I was trying to get him to do this one because technically he for all his purpose, he's a TikTok influencer. Got millions of followers.
They
So I'm
get
trying to
paid
get
to
him to
do
do
this
it.
stuff. Like yeah, like
Yeah, he
Mike
definitely gets paid
Kanye
to do
is
it.
he's got almost a million followers. He's at like 900 and something thousand like on TikTok. He
Wow.
gets paid to post stuff on his account and do personal videos on Cameo. Like they, like that's what these influencers do. When you have that much of a following, that's your business. Like you get paid to do that.
What you do for a living? I don't know how people don't catch on to this. Like, oh, it's free, huh? No, you fucking idiot. Nothing's free.
I want
Nothing's free.
I want you know who Baby No Money to send me a happy birthday video, right? How do I get that?
Cameo, probably, right?
I would, yeah, what I would assume Cameo, but I'd spend money. Like, and like, man's not gonna do it for free. Like,
You want him to come perform at your bar mitzvah? Guess what?
cost money.
Better have that.
Yeah, gonna set you back, man.
Speaking
yeah.
of money, right?
Yeah.
Um, I'm doing features right now, features and hooks for
Yeah.
people. You know,
Oh, tell us what you got going on, man. How much is a feature, bro?
so I feel like for what I have done so far, and let me like again say like, bro, 120,000 songs come out every day, right? We agree to this,
Mm-hmm.
maybe more. Okay, if you can somehow manage to get on an iTunes somewhere or an Amazon somewhere, for example, I had the number 2 song at one point. You got to be selling records.
Mm-hmm.
120,000 songs came out a day, and I hit number 2. You know the odds of doing that? Like, what percentage of artists will ever do that? I looked it up. It's less than 1/10 of 1% will ever even have that happen. So right there, and because I've done it multiple times, I think that fairly, right now, I'm doing features for $500. Right? The label said I should be asking for at least 1,500, but I'm doing features right now for 5. If you want the hook and the feature, because TM's hook is what makes me famous, baby. I'll do it for like 750, bro. You know, and then once this Wayne joint drops in June,
Price is
expect
going
that
up.
price to go incredibly. And then when that Jack Harlow joint drops, we need to start talking bag prices now. You know, we're getting there. And when I drop that joint with Post Malone, bro, y'all are gonna have to come at me correct then, you know? Because like I said, I'm getting these boys in videos. Like, because I did not get to directly work with them, this
Yeah.
is my way to directly work with them. I gotta drop a whole nother fucking bag, but it gets me 6-8 hours of a day of being around this person, working with them on this video,
Yep.
chopping it up with them. You know what I'm saying?
It gives you access to their time. Yeah.
Well, and it adds legitimacy. It's not just me in a video with them on a song. It's them in the video with me.
Yeah.
So when that happens, the price just keeps going up. So $500 for a feature right now, I think is a great deal. There's 2 artists that have already jumped on it. So I'm gonna do those. I'm actually doing a couple for Zell for free. I know it sucks that I'm admitting that to everyone else, but yeah, that's my
Zell's your
guy.
boys. Zell's your guy.
Zell. I told Zell, I'm like, bro, you got to start paying too, but these first 2, 3, I got you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I told
man.
him I would wait. I
So
wouldn't even release them.
where can they get these verses, man? They're gonna be exclusive verses.
Oh yeah, like you're gonna send me whatever you got going on. I'm gonna take it in the studio and I'm gonna do my part and send it back to you.
How can they get a hold of you,
Well,
bro?
I'm gonna have my engineer do my shit. So like when I send it back to you,
Yeah.
my part will be done. No offense, I have my
Oh
own
yeah.
engineer. I'm gonna use him. But so for $500, you hit me up on my socials at t.m.live, and you pay me the cash. If you don't trust me, I'll take 50% up front, 50% after. You send me your stems, you send me the track, I'll knock it out, have my part engineered, mix master, send back to you, boom, done deal.
Damn, $500
I think,
and they get mixed, mastered, engineered.
well, they get
Sheesh.
my part mixed, mastered, and engineered.
Oh, okay,
My vocals will be mixed, mastered, engineered, comped, ready to
okay.
go.
Right.
Now,
So
what your engineer does with your mix, master, and edit, that's on you. Hopefully, he's at least as good as mine.
what they get back is just the vocal files all mixed, mastered, and engineered, not the mixed
Yeah,
down
yeah,
track. Right.
and not the whole track exactly.
To be clear,
Now,
guys, that's it.
as I also said to Zell, if I was someone and I was taking advantage of this feature right now, I would hold off a few months before releasing it. Me personally, I would wait till after both the Wayne and the Harlow song come out, and then I would drop that song because by then I should be a little higher on the emerging artist list.
Well, I feel
And
like
so that feature,
when it comes to a feature, it involves almost like a consultation. Like you're in the conversation after the financial obligations are taken care of. At some point, you're probably going to mention, "Hey, by the way, I'm releasing a song on this day, and this day. You might want to try to work around that." Like,
well, and here's the other reason I think the value is here for me. I've proven I can chart records. I've charted, like I said, 9 times on iTunes, 4 records on Amazon. I've charted on the global radio charts several times. I've had a number 2 song on Beatport. I know Beatport's just DJs, and it's not that hard to chart on. But you're not just getting my feature. I will tell you the fucking game plan. There's a reason I'm in Source Magazine. There's a reason I'm in Billboard Hip Hop. There's a reason I'm in hip hop since '87. There's a reason I'm on FM radio stations. I got the fucking blueprint. You're not just paying for my feature. You're paying for some knowledge, bro. Because I'm going to spit some knowledge at you. Like, I'm going to tell you how to get them and what it costs. If you can afford it, I just told you how to make this at least a semi-win. You know?
You can lead a horse to water. You
can't make it drink.
You can even give him a fishing pole, but he damn sure ain't going to eat that fucking fish.
So you're getting my feature, and I'm going to tell you how and where you can do these things that I've done to give your record a chance at being successful, to be able to chart on anything really. It's all about campaigns, man. It's all about spending money and running ads, like whether it's Google ads, Instagram ads, TikTok ads. You got to be running ads. You got to know who your demographic is.
It doesn't matter what dollar amount you set. Just set a budget for it and try to split it up as much as you can, even if it's a little bit. Like I've done $20 campaigns that have gotten literally just gets the fire started sometimes, and you get lucky. Like you can throw $20 in and get a few thousand, maybe 10,000, 100,000 plays on a song on like TikTok or something like that on an ad campaign. If it just starts the fire, maybe you're not targeting the right audience with just your organic reach on your posts. You have to target people. You have to figure out who your audience is, which is why, like you said, Chartmetric is a great place to get all of that, where you can find out what countries you're charting in, what cities in those countries you're charting in. Then you can retarget those cities and then get on the charts there. And then from there, other algorithms will start to pick you up as long as your music's tagged properly. Of course, when you submit it to Spotify playlists or internet radio stations or even regular radio stations, make sure the files you're sending are tagged properly as well. I find that a lot of so I do music reviews on TikTok, and I get a lot of people that send like their files over too, and I go through and look at some of the metadata and stuff, and I'm like, man, these guys are just like exporting it out of Bandlab or whatever, and they don't have no metadata in there. The song title's not in there. The artist name isn't in there, or anything like that. And that's one of the things that I try to, talk about to these people especially like when I'm doing the live shows. I take time. That's one kind of like other free thing that I offer to a lot of independent artists is I do a live music review on TikTok of their songs. They get to submit it and get a live music review. They can record it. They can do whatever they want with the information, but I try to analyze the track as far as the mix. I look at, stuff as far as like, I'm as an artist manager, what am I looking for in an artist? Is it their delivery? Is not like, as far as the artist development part of it, I give them some suggestions as well. And then I asked them to join the Discord server, because I don't know if you looked at any of the other channels here in the Discord server, but I put out a lot of information here for like how to get podcast interviews, artist portal, how to get your music synced in TV, music and film, how to register your music properly with all the MLC, ASCAP, BMI, all the links are in each one of these channels. And I took the time to organize it that way to try to help foster a community that understands how to properly release their music.
That's super dope that you did that for people.
It is at this point that I realized that I didn't really get a chance to show you guys his new song. It's called Whoa. So give it a listen. If you guys want to leave a comment down below, please leave a comment. Tag TM at t.m.live on all of his socials if you guys want to tag him in it and let him know how you feel about his new song. That'd be awesome, guys. But here it is. Without further ado, Whoa.
it's all inclusive. I'm growing through it, while going through it. And girl, since you got it, shit, you better use it. Tell me why we just friends and not secret lovers. Let's explore this friendship, see what we discover. Meet me there, underneath all the covers. Run up some money, we can tweak the numbers.
Addicted to habits, I'm sprung Roger Rabbit. Baby, how you moving? Show me how you do it. Baby, how you moving? Show me how you do it. Baby, how you moving? Show me how you do it.
But yeah, man, I do like that that song you sent over though. What was
Did
is
you
definitely
notice? Did you notice the song that I borrowed it from? I didn't. Let me also say we definitely played that out. It is not a sample. There's no sample there, but
so you interpolated it.
yeah, we played it all out on guitar and piano. Did you notice what it was?
Hold on, I gotta listen to it again, man. Let's listen to it
Pop
here.
it for like 30 seconds, and you're gonna let's see if you guess.
Shaggy? No.
It's a TV show. It's from a TV show.
I can't. I don't know. I don't know what it is. What is it?
It's The Office.
Oh, yeah. Now I hear it.
You know the theme song from The Office?
I hear it now. It's a little slowed down, right?
Kinda,
The
yeah.
tempo. Yeah, I hear it now. I didn't hear it at first. So I was like, oh, like this. I didn't
It's
think
funny
about
how
it.
many people noticed it. It's funny how many people noticed it right away because we were curious when we put it out, like, and we started doing like podcasts and these like I've been on a lot of radio interviews too. We were curious to see how many people would notice, and it's funny like several radio DJs have noticed. It's always like the super music file, you know. Yeah,
That's
so
funny.
we thought that would help with its virality, or the possibility of virality would be that it would already be familiar to people a bit because a ton of people watch that show. Like I've never really watched it. I've seen like maybe a part of an episode,
I
but I knew
watched a
this. I knew
couple
the song.
episodes of it. I wasn't like, oh, I'm an Office fan. Like, you know, those people that were like crazy. They bought all the Office like replica stuff, and like they have T-shirts. I don't know. Like, I wasn't like a fanatic about it like that. I watched a couple episodes. Yeah, it was funny, haha. But yeah, it was like one of those like Trailer Park Boys or like uh what's
Trailer
the
Park Boys.
I
I
love
just went
I
to
love Trailer Park Boys.
I just went to Randy's Cheeseburger Picnic 2 nights ago here in Vegas.
That's what I was gonna ask you. You're in Vegas. What is being that you're, you know, you'd go and do shows and entertainment out there and stuff, I'm assuming. And I was gonna ask, what's a local spot that you love that maybe somebody who's visiting Vegas might overlook?
Like, are we talking for food or entertainment?
Both. You
Both?
do, yeah. I mean, if there's two separate places, you could say two separate places, but
Let's see. For food, I'm pretty sure people know about this place because it's always booked up like 3 to 6 months in advance. But you should make that reservation so you could see it, or get a Platinum Amex because sometimes they can get you a reservation there. Golden Steer Steakhouse. It's legitimate.
I
It's
think
legitimate.
I walked by that place the last time I was
Lobster
there.
tail like this fucking big, bro. I'm serious. It's
Yeah, dude,
monster
that's what
lobster
someone was
tail.
telling me. I was like, "What's this line for?" Because like everybody was waiting to get in,
So fire.
and I was like,
And then
they were like, "I was." That's the one thing they said. The lobster was like this fucking big. Like,
the steaks are good, bro. There's a lot of like aged steaks, you can get. I believe they sell Wagyu too. I'm a big
all right,
Wagyu fan. Uh,
all
I
right.
prefer the A5 Japanese, but I will fuck with Australian or American at that matter. But I prefer the Japanese. And then like for things to do,
Entertainment.
yeah. So we're about to get this thing. So I haven't got to go to it yet either because no one has. But in August or October, I think it's August. Universal Studios is opening like they have their Halloween horror thing they do, and they have
Yeah,
the haunted
yeah,
houses.
yeah, yeah.
They're bringing a permanent installation here that's going to have like 5 or 6 haunted houses year round. I think that's going to be fucking sick.
Vegas. So yeah, this is what DZ was telling me. He said Vegas is going to be the new Hollywood. Everybody from Hollywood and Southern California is moving out to Vegas.
It's making properties just go up and up and up and up and up. So like, that's good for the other business I'm in. Well, good and bad because now it's more expensive for me to buy them, but
Yeah,
it's
I was gonna
also
say.
gonna sell them more too.
Yeah.
Other cool stuff. I don't know if it's open anymore. I'm pretty sure it is. But there's a secret art installation that I swear no one knows about. Like I've told so many people, and everyone's like, "I've never heard of that." There's this artist named James Terrell, and he makes these things called Gonsfelds. Just you might have to Google that. I can't really explain it to you. So basically,
What
it's like
is
this
it?
giant Gonsfeld. It's basically like
Gonsfeld.
a it's basically like a dome shaped object that you go into, right? And they use light to change the space. So it's basically it's art, but art using light,
Okay.
right? So it can make the
Interesting.
space look like it's 2 feet. It can make the space look like it's infinite. And so
Based
he's
on the
done
way the lights are
hitting the dome.
hitting the dome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this
Dude,
dude has
I
done
like
a
shit
couple
like
of these
this.
installations. This dude's done a couple of these installations in other places in the world, but this one was the world's largest Gonsfeld, and it's actually located underground beneath the Louis Vuitton flagship store at the Crystal Shops. So when you see that like triangle Louis Vuitton store on the strip, where it's like the big triangle
Yeah.
coming up the building,
Yeah. Yeah.
you go
Yeah.
into you go into that and you tell them you want to make a reservation for James Terrell's art exhibit if it's still there. I'd Google to see if it's still there. They might have closed it. But you would just go in there and you make a reservation. They tell you to come back like another day in the week. And then you come down there and they do it in like groups of 2 or 4. And believe it or not, there's other hidden art all around that Louis Vuitton that people don't even realize is like really fine art. They just think it's just like a decoration, but it's like super heady art. So they take you and show you all the heady art throughout the store. And then after you see all the heady art in the store, they would take you down this elevator underground and you would get in this room and it's like super Willy Wonka because they put these white booties on your feet because the whole room is painted white.
Right.
For
They don't want you to. Yep.
And then as they start doing the light effects, it's insanity, bro. It's like a 15-20 minute experience it's like a light art. I don't know how to explain it.
No, yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's pretty cool, actually. It's
so
an
fire.
article from
I don't-
2013, so I don't know if it's there still, but that would be really cool. We rented some studio space that was like a wraparound, like all white room, basically. It was
like
all
a
plastic.
cyclorama.
It
But see, this is like a dome. This is above your head and everything, bro. Because like it's literally underneath the Louis Vuitton store. So like they built a dome under. So like, even if it's closed, I guarantee that motherfucker's still there. They didn't go underground and tear it
Right.
out. Like, why would? No one even knows it's there.
Oh,
Like,
the Mondays
it's very
through,
Willy
I'm sorry,
Wonka.
Thursdays through Mondays from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. This was in 2013. There's a phone number here. I'm gonna try to call it later.
Call it, bro. Make a reservation for when you're out here in
I
July.
want to see how much it costs. Maybe make a reservation.
No, it's free. That's the best part.
Oh,
it's free.
Okay.
Fucking free.
Shit. All right. You just have to
All
make a
you have to do is make
reservation?
a reservation. Yeah, that's it. Most of my songs, by the way, are either about girls, marijuana, or like party or getting money. I don't believe in like making violent music because I believe a lot in like the words we say are spelling. And that's why it's called spellings, because we're casting
Dude,
spells. I believe
you are the first
I believe
person
in
in a long
manifesting.
time that has said that. I say this to other people too, because I'm like, are you careful what you actually like? And I have explained this to them, and they're like, it goes over a lot of people's heads. I feel like, but yeah, that's funny that
so,
you
like,
said that.
the way I look at it is not only are you casting these spells out there, but you're manifesting it because like the universe or whatever's listening, all they hear is what you're talking about. So if you're constantly talking about killing and sliding on ops, then the universe thinks that's what you want in your life. So there's going to be a lot of killing and ops sliding in your life. So I like to talk about things that I want in my life, which is pussy, money, weed, and a good time. Because that's what I want the universe to know I'm after. You know what I'm saying? I'm after a good time. I'm after making some money.
Now you need to get a collab with Snoop, bro. Do a
Seriously.
pussy money weed remix.
Yes. I have a list of artists that I want to work with, but like that I legitimately want to work with naturally. That I don't want to pay. I just want to collab with.
You just want to like kind of bump into them at the studio, like.
Yeah, like believe it or not, Taylor Swift.
There was one out
really
there. Have you been to the Hideout out there?
I know of it.
Okay.
I know of it. Yeah.
That's one. I think that's one of the studios that DZ went to. Or
you ever been to the one in the Palms, bro?
No, I haven't been to any of the studios out in Vegas, to be honest with you.
When you come in July, at worst, you guys should make a reservation to at least go like check it out, as if you wanted to possibly book studio time, right? So you guys want to check it out first, because the board that's in there is the board that Paul McCartney, John Lennon, and Phil Spector used when they were working in the Abbey Road studio.
Okay.
It's the same board. It's a giant Allen and Heath. So I mean, it's literally been touched by Paul McCartney and John Lennon.
That's fucking awesome, bro.
It's worth it just for that part. Me, bro.
That's fucking awesome. That's legendary, bro.
You know, like, you ever heard of One More Time?
One more
it's
time.
Like,
no.
It's so, you know the song, so it's Daft Punk's like official tribute group. Like they're the
okay. I was gonna say, is it a tribute band, maybe?
Because you know Daft Punk retired, so these guys are like the official Daft Punk tribute band. So he's in that group, but their like identities are private, you know, because they wear the mask and everything still, because they're Daft Punk. So no one even knows the kid's in it. So he's gone for that a lot, and that's what keeps me from continuing to put out. My other buddy is an engineer up in Seattle. He's moving down here in October, and when he does, I'll probably be able to start at least making a song a week. Because like, bro, I could probably have at least 1,000 songs out right now, considering I started in 2014.
Right.
Even if I just was able to record every week, and I just wasn't able to.
Yeah, man. I mean, even do you like record like any like rough drafts or anything like that to bring to?
Nope.
You don't. No.
Most of the time, when I go to the studio, I haven't even heard the music yet, or we make a beat right then and there. So we either make a beat right then and there, or my partner has a bunch of beats made.
And you pick one out and throw something together. Or?
So the way I record 9 times out of 10 is kind of like how they say Lil Wayne and Jay-Z does, I guess. But I think Jay-Z really writes. He's a liar. But I just have him play it. The microphone's already on. He's already set up to record. It's already running. And I just go. And whatever comes out, then he'll play it back to me. I'll listen to what was freestyled. I'll write down the parts I liked. I'll memorize that part for a second. And then I'll have him start it right back from the beginning. I'll say the part memorized. and then I'll
T-Pain does the same
freestyle.
thing. He'll sing a melody and then he'll start to throw some words in there and he'll keep some words and he'll change some of the words and then it's just kind of that's how his
Like building a
writing
puzzle.
process is too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how mine is too. To me, it's like building a puzzle. For the Wayne track and the Jack Harlow track, though, I actually sat down and wrote my lyrics.
Okay.
These are the first few tracks I've ever sat down and wrote. So hopefully they're better than the stuff I can just freestyle. But I don't know. We'll see.
Nice, man.
But yeah, usually I just freestyle it
Awesome.
and then
dude.
build it like a puzzle.
Fuck yeah. That's awesome, man. I was looking at like getting the licensing for like internet radio. And I realized it's really not that much. It's not
that bad.
No, it's the hosting space that you got to pay for unless you're gonna host your own servers. Which I've built websites. I've done a little bit of programming, and I understand how to do it. I could do it theoretically from home with minimal budget, with aside from the licensing. But it's better to just pay like $100 for like Live 365 to host it. And then as long as I get the licensing, I know it's not a lot. It's not as much as transient radio, or like FM or AM radio, when they get the spins on internet radio. But it I feel like it helps educate them on how those royalties work and how they're able to collect those and not just what's played on Spotify and not just what's on.
It also still helps for sure because those spins do count even though they're digital radio, right?
Yep.
And so you could chart on digital radio and you're also getting that audience. Like someone's listening to it. It's even if you got only 100 people, it's 100 people hearing your song that weren't going to hear it.
Exactly. And it just takes a little bit of effort of putting in the footwork to send in all the proper documents, making your EPK, getting the DJ press kit, actually sending the emails to the DJs or the production managers for these radio stations, internet radio stations. Even it's like something like the way that it works, from what I understand, because I called like BMI and ASCAP, and I was like, how do these licenses work? Do I have to like pay quarterly, or does it come out of the money that I pay for the license? And they were like, oh no, it comes out of the money that you pay for the license up to a certain, once that amount of money is depleted, then you pay extra. Like then you have to, pay for a different license. Like, and I'm like, oh, okay. So as long as I'm not getting like hundreds of thousands of millions of fucking listeners, then I basically just pay this license for the year. And they're like, yeah, that's it. So that any of the artists that are registered with ASCAP or BMI, which I'm assuming those are really going to be the only two like performance rights organizations that the artists are going to register with if they're in the United States.
CSAC one as well.
CSAC is, I feel like that's more top 40, isn't it?
I thought it was just like different license.
I know it's invite only.
Is it?
From what I understand, yeah. Like you have to
it says it's a for-profit performance rights organizations in the United States, founded in 1930 as the Society of European Stage Authors and Composers. It licenses music for businesses with over 1.5 million songs in its catalog. So, like, say you want to get your song played in like fucking Walmart or something, right? Or like when you're at the Gap at the mall or a fucking Target. You always hear songs. That's them. So if you want your stuff to even have a chance of being played at Walmart, it's got to be registered to CSAC as well.
So it's a completely separate organization that artists would have to register their music with?
Yes, sir. Completely separate.
But is it, from what I understand, it's invite only. Like you have to have like some sort of invitation to it, maybe pay a membership fee. Like, because I know, like BMI.
I know you've heard of the Harry Fox Agency, right?
I know who Harry Fox is. Yeah, I know the Harry Fox Agency. Okay.
So CSAC owns Harry Fox Agency.
So if you register with Harry Fox, then your music's registered with CSAC.
I don't know about that. I think you have to register top down. You know what I'm saying?
I'll have to look more into this. Because I thought it was just another PRO that that you could register with, but it was an invitation. From what I read, this was like when I first started doing this. I may have misread it.
Yeah, they all have their differences, and that's the difference on that one is that that one's how you get in these stores. Like, also there's like companies that will charge you money to get you to pay them to get played in these stores, just like the playlisting people, right?
Just like the playlisters, yeah.
But instead of paying them, if you just register at CSAC, your music goes up on their server, and the people that run these places listen to those to find songs to add. Now, a lot of the time, it's the same as major radio.
Music managers, yeah.
It might not necessarily be like whatever's on Billboard at the time, but they're looking for songs that at least are from known artists or had some good traction somewhere.
Right.
Like yesterday, when I was in my grocery store, Smith's. It's owned by Kroger. I don't know what you guys have up in the north.
I'm familiar with Smith's, yeah.
They were playing like an old Offspring song. Like it was from like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then after that, I heard like a newer John Mayer song, and then Avril Lavigne. Like it was just, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
And it's not even all recent releases. So they're just picking songs that are registered fucking CSAC, bro. That's it. That's all they're doing.
That's interesting.
So if your artists aren't doing that, add that into. You said you had these little channels right here on your Discord, right?
I'm gonna go do some research and build like a nice little, blurb about it. Maybe I'm gonna write a blog article about it too. That'd be interesting. So in theory, you could register your music with all of them. So you're putting your music into a music library when you're registering it with ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC. So you could register for all three. In theory,
because they kind of all three have their own different niche. Like ASCAP and BMI are looking for, they're looking for it to be played on the radio, YouTube, TV, shit like that, right? They're not thinking about, is it being played in a Starbucks?
No, I mean, you should care, because how many Starbucks are there in the world? How many Starbucks are there in just the United States alone? And think about the Starbucks in your town or your county, like
yeah. A ton. Yeah, that's the one I would add into there for you. But I'm
gonna let you go, bro. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you pushed back.
I need to fucking eat. It's my boy's birthday today. Not my boy. It's one of my business partners' birthday, and
nice,
we're gonna go do some hooligan shit.
TM, I guess that's what I'm gonna call you. I know you got another name you want me to call you, man.
Gray, by the way. I go by Gray, so
Gray.
Like the color.
Man. Awesome, man.
Right.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to come out here and talk to us and talk to me. Thank you again for your service, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I'll let you enjoy the rest of your day, man. Enjoy the fights on Saturday.
All right, we'll be in touch.
Take care, brother. Thank you so much to everybody who was subscribed and tuned into the Flipside Music Podcast. I really do appreciate you guys. And if you guys want to continue to show more support, or if you want to go a little bit further, I did start a Patreon page. You can go to mattyfliptv.com/Patreon, and that'll take you to the Patreon page where you can subscribe to different tiers for different benefits. Whatever you guys donate on Patreon goes towards running and operating this podcast. If you would like to be a guest on the Flipside Music Podcast, send me an email at mattyfliptv@gmail.com or send me a DM on any one of my socials at mattyfliptv. Thank you again for tuning in, and I will catch you guys on the flip side.